recording. Here we go. One more time. James Scott, Climax Rag. That was fun, I think. I think this is a great piece. He's a great composer, and more people need to know his music. So, sorry, I keep touching my face. I promise I washed my hands. And I washed the piano. And I washed the camera. We're all here. So, listen, I'm going to do Broadway Rag next. Broadway Rag was James Scott's last published rag in 1922, but it seems that he probably wrote it a few years before. There was a kind of a backlog of publications by Stark. Stark was kind of freaking out because of the rise of jazz. Sorry, I had to refresh my computer browser. So if it freezes up, you might want to try doing that as well. Broadway Rag, my guess is this is not the New York Broadway. It's probably the Kansas City Broadway, which was where Jimmy Scott lived. So I kind of imagine him walking down Broadway in Kansas City in 1920 or, you know, right after the war. Let me know what you think. One day, maybe I can record it. I don't know. Let's see. Anyway, I always loved ragtime. Being born in '66, I was about 8 or so when the Sting came out. So it was really a popular genre right at the time where I was about at the ability where I could play a sort of a simplified version, and it gave me this kind of technical challenge that pushed me to be a better pianist in the mid-'70s. And you know, it's just a huge repertoire out there. There are so many pieces. I'm going to play a little more ragtime later, but now I'm going to switch to some classical, and I'm going to play a Chopin Nocturne. I'm going to play a pair of nocturnes. The second one I'll do a little bit later. This is the pair Opus 62. This is number 1 in, you know, it's a weird, it's very weird harmonically. It's in B major, but for those of you who have perfect pitch, you'll hear how adventuresome it is. This is a very late piece of Chopin's, and I think it's just incredibly beautiful and, yeah, very beautiful. Chopin Nocturne, Opus 62, number 1. I like that one. Yeah, I really do. Anyway, okay, the next piece, we're going to go back to ragtime. At this point, I'm going to refresh my computer. We're going to go back to ragtime, and I'm going to play the Diablo Rag, a rag fantasy two-step by Dorothy Ingersoll Wahl. There were actually a lot of women composers writing ragtime at the same time as Scott Joplin and James Scott. And it's just incredible how much is out there. Now, Dorothy Ingersoll Wahl, we don't know a lot about. She was in Chicago. I looked her up online. I found the marriage record of Dorothy Wahl. She was born in 1871 and died in 1920. She was married to Charles B. Hawkins, and she sang. And I've got a picture of her. If you want to see a picture, here, I'll show you a picture. Let's see if I can. No, that's my music. Hold on. I'm going to show you a picture. No, not that one either. Okay, if you look really closely, let's see if I can do this. See that? See her? That's her down there. Yeah, and that's the rag. Anyway, this was her only hit, making her a one-hit wonder. So, the Diablo Rag. See if I can do this. James Scott. Sorry, my computer screen keeps freezing up. We're going to go back to James Scott, and this is one of my favorites. One of my favorites of his. It's called the Grace and Beauty, a classy rag. He calls it a classy rag, and in fact, he was undiscovered, and people had completely forgotten about him. But then, with the revival of ragtime in the 70s and the 80s, ragtime connoisseurs actually went and looked for his gravestone and found it was in I think it's West Lawn Cemetery in Kansas City, and it was overgrown and it was hidden. And they renovated it and they built him a new tombstone. And on his tombstone is the epitaph: "The grace and beauty of his music will always live." And I really think it comes from this. They're definitely referring to this rag, but this is such a beautiful rag. 1909, which, by the way, this piano was built in 1910, and Dorothy Ingersoll Wahl's rag was built in 1908. So I'm playing performance practice, accurate performance practice. Anyway, that's a joke. This is Grace and Beauty by James Scott. Anyway, we're going to go back to some Chopin now. I'm going to play the second nocturne from Opus 62, and this one is in E major. All right, E major nocturne. This was, I think, Chopin's last nocturne published in his lifetime. He has a couple of posthumous nocturnes that were published after he died. He wrote them while he was still alive. So, thank you so much, all of you, for staying as long as you did, even if it's just for a short while. I'm glad I had a chance to do this, and I hope I can do more. Please remember that musicians are also being really hard hit by this pandemic. They're all out of work. Maybe not all of them, but certainly the freelancers are really suffering. So, in an effort to maybe change the culture, I'd like to encourage you to even think about the idea of when you listen to Livestream, help out the musicians if you can. Of course, everybody's hurting right now. The main point is that this is a way to bring us all together with music and with art. I promise I just washed my hands. And we're going to finish on a piece of ragtime, Scott Joplin, the king of ragtime, and of course we finish with the king of ragtime because kings wear crowns. This is the Scott Joplin's new rag. Appreciate it. I see a lot of people who are here, a lot of friends. I hope this was a nice opportunity at least to see your names together in the same group, and I'll try to do more of these in the future. Assuming you all liked it, I'm going to go back and read all your comments and count it up. So anyway, thank you all for being here. I look forward to seeing you next time. Please feel free to email, call, text, Facebook message, whatever. See you soon. Bye.